The next thing I want to do is actually just clean up my code a little bit. Now, I know I've only got 4 lines of code right now, and I'm going to make even more lines of code to then clean it up. So hopefully this will make sense later on. But for now, what we're going to do is actually make something brand new. So similar to what we did in P5 projects with function draw, function setup, basically making a way to run things, we're going to make our own way to run things. So between these two, what I'm also going to set up is another constant, and I'm going to call this one run random. Now, I've given it that name. It could be called setup, it could be called draw, but for now, it just makes perfect sense of what it might do. It's going to run this kind of randomized thing. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this equal to a tag that goes and does some code. So this is kind of like a function in the same way. So again, I'm just going to open up these brackets. What do I want to do to this tag? Well, to this tag, I'm just going to change the inner HTML to Downtown Brooklyn. Now, I'm not running this code just yet because this is just in the code ready to be run. But for now, maybe we'll change it to downtown somewhere else instead. So let's change this tag.inner HTML to something like downtown Toronto. Now, at the moment, if we look at the page, that we should still see downtown Brooklyn everywhere because it's this code that is currently running on page load. At the moment, this tag never runs, but what we want to do is pass this tag in here up to run random. So I'm going to get rid of this. If I get rid of this, this loop doesn't do any code. So now what we get is the original. And what we're going to do instead is pass this tag into run random. So here what I'm going to do is run random, and I'm going to run random with these round brackets. What do I want to pass in each time? The tag. So for the header tags, for each individual one, which is a H1 or H2, I want to do something to each one called onTag. So the tag gets passed into this code, and this code runs run random and passes this tag in. This then goes and passes this tag from here into here, and then runs this code. Now, why have I done this like this? Well, at the moment, this runs on page load only. So later on, what I want to do is run this when things come into view, as well as on page load too. So there's lots of different ways I want to run this run random and change this content. I don't want to do it just on page load. This stuff is just on page load at the moment. Later on, we'll use this run random when we have things coming into view. But now what we should see on our site is downtown Toronto everywhere. So even though we said that we were cleaning up this code, we've actually added more code to this. Now what we're going to do is add all of the stuff that we need to change this individual tag's content to within run random. So when it comes into view, or if it's on page load, that's where we're going to be running this. All of our code is going to live between these curly brackets.